Hello, my name is Ryan Harper, and today we're going to be speaking with Brent Carpenter, a man who used his accident to teach others about spinal cord injuries. So let's take a look.
My name's Brent Carpenter, Greenville, North Carolina.
Can you tell me your history here in North Carolina?
Well, I'm originally from Running Rapids, which is only about an hour and 30 minutes from here. And I came here actually to college to go to Pitt Community College at the age of 18. And so I've been here since 18. And unfortunately, I was involved in a diving injury that left me paralyzed at the age of 23 when I was living in Greenville. So, so after that, after I got paralyzed, which was my paralysis is at first was pretty bad. I mean, it took me at least 5 to 6 years to make it over that hump. And as soon as I knew that I was ready to be sort of on my own and make that other leap, I came back to Greenville because I love this town.
What was life like before your accident? Because I read that you was doing a lot of sports, and you sort of kind of did a lot of on land sports and water sports as well. Can you go into detail about that?
Um, as far as sports, I like to tell people like I was never what I like to say. I was never a cheerleader. I was never like the guy on the sideline. I was always wanting to participate, and so ever since like the age of probably the age of 3 to 4, my dad was cutting down his golf club so we could play golf with him, and it was really me and my brother. And my brother isn't but 14 months apart from me, so it was always, as the younger brother, it was always trying to keep up with him. And I guess that really started you know, started me to be really competitive. So there wasn't anything I said no to as far as sports, but my love was like basketball, baseball. I even wrestled, golfed, and then once I was introduced to water sports, I think that's where my true passion like sort of started.
So after your injury, how did you proceed with life after that?
You know, it's almost like you have life in the palm of your hands, and then all of a sudden everything is stripped away from you, and you really go back to like being an infant again. You have to learn to crawl before you can walk. It took me, and it's still a learning curve as you go. It's been 16 years now that I've been paralyzed, and with my paralysis, it affected my hands, my arms, and of course all of my legs. So all of my extremities. I mean, they're just affected by my paralysis. Like I went from being right-handed to left-handed. My right hand, I literally can't use even one finger. So even that transition from being right-handed to left-handed, you
Mm-hmm.
could only imagine how hard that is, especially as a guy. Like
Mm-hmm.
imagine going from right-handed shaving to left-handed shaving. As far as overcoming, like trying to adapt to a new life, I was never really that depressed. The only thing that really made me depressed is like hearing my boys say like, "Oh, we're going to the golf course," or "We're going on the boat," or "We're going just doing like or traveling and just being left out." So I always wanted to get. It was like my motivation. It was my motivation to find out. I know, especially with social media out there now, with like we have a spinal cord support system on Facebook, which is great because once you see one person do it with an injury that might be worse or better than yours, it sort of it sort of makes you want to do it also, or it shows you that it is possible. So, like I said, I went to Pitt Community College. Took me a while to graduate because I was juggling a job, college, and a little extra activities. But ECU has always been a close college to my heart. And the therapists, the actual teachers there that teach therapy, they really have a passion in helping people with disabilities, and especially physical disabilities like I have. But when they want me to talk to classes, I go and I never say no to this, and I do it for free. But all the classes I talk to, I make sure to tell them, like, hey, I wasn't always this healthy like I am now. I mean, it took me 6 months just to get off like a ventilator, and that was breathing for me. And I was a tough patient. And it really wasn't until I got home to um, where it really hit me, to where I, like, hey, you got to get some fire under you. You got to get better. And I like to spread the word out there with what field they're jumping into, and not to treat this like it's a revolving door. Um, they need to show some sympathy and empathy. And but yeah, I never say no to like a speaking event like that.
I know that you've recently been doing a little bit more public speaking and teaching people about, spinal cord injuries. Can you go into some details about that as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I was really not out there for attention or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just being me. Like when people always say, "Oh, you're such an inspiration," it's just me being me. Like I've loved sports. Um, I love challenges, just like this open water swim I just did. That was a mile. Once I have a challenge that's thrown in front of me, and of course, what I also like to say is like it takes the army sometimes to help one soldier, and if you have that support system, like I do, um, and they're willing to train with you, anything's possible to overcome. And so once I first, like I did a 5K on a bike, my trike with my arms. Once I did that first 5K that I thought was like impossible for a quadriplegic like me, once I did that first 5K, and then I was already in the pool and swimming and stuff. And once I got comfortable in the water and this came up, and I had somebody beside me, that was always there just in case something happened, or just pushed me really.
I saw recently in a video that you were doing the 1 mile swim. Can you tell me why you're training yourself for that?
As far as the training for the 1 mile swim, which was back in my hometown, which was great to go back to at Lake Gaston. But as far as something bad left into something good.
Mm-hmm.
So I was actually slalom skiing like 2 years ago, 2.5, maybe 3 years ago, and I broke my femur slalom skiing in this predicament. So so after I broke my femur, my physical therapist asked me, "Hey, you want to get in the water?" Because we had a pool at the hospital for outpatient, and I said, "Yeah, let's try this." And it had really been 13 years since I ever got back in the water, and I went from just learning to flip over in the water, as far as the pool, like 14, 13 years being back in the pool. I was already in the lake a little bit, but I wasn't a really great swimmer. And then once this challenge was thrown in front of me and they said, well, Brent, there's a mile open water swim. And I was already doing probably 18 laps at the time, which was pretty much halfway there. I just kicked it in overdrive the past 3 months to prepare for this. And I was doing a mile swim probably twice a week, 2 weeks prior to this event. So I didn't think it was possible, but I accomplished it.
So tell me about your GoFundMe as far as the goal that you're trying to reach.
Well, the GoFundMe, I did that. You know, I figured since uh, this was a nonprofit event that they were doing at the lake. Um, OSAIL is the nonprofit. So I thought, you know, since they were doing something like that, and the word really got out really fast that I was doing this, and I said, you know what, you know, if I dedicate myself to training for this, staying healthy, and you know, being determined, I was I wanted to I just wanted to change the quality of life for somebody else, plus myself, as far as getting like a piece of equipment. Ever since I've been paralyzed, going to the beach was always sort of felt like I was trapped in like a dog pen when you know when they I would have to get a beach chair and then my siblings would have to roll me out of my brother-in-law. But once you get out there, you're trapped in the sand and you can't roll anywhere unless somebody, you know, helps you or assists you. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go out for a piece of equipment to not only where I can drive on the beach, but I can share this piece of equipment with people around my community when they go. I think once people read my GoFundMe and they saw my dedication and the need for this piece of equipment, I raised the money in over 48 hours.
Could you tell me what you have planned for the future?
Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. I mean, as far as the future is, you know, as far as the future, I would say like there's already talk. I mean, after we did this mile lip and water swim, and we realized, you know, there's a need for this. As far as I think, it was just as it's not only I not only did this for like all my brothers and sisters out there that are struggling with the spinal cord injury. I not only did this to like sort of show them that anything's possible, but it was just as important to show people that are also that were walking that hey, you can do this also. And two of the people that went with me, they weren't even planning on swimming, and that they once they were done with this event and they actually pulled it off, that they're never missing this event again, and probably whatever event's going to happen in the future, whether it be running, whether it be hand cycling, biking. It was really, it was just great to see people that people that didn't plan on doing this, as far as like able-bodied people loving it also.